everyone. Last night I created a video about how to take your Bitmoji Google Slides classroom and embed that into Microsoft Teams, as well as how to take your Bitmoji PowerPoint classroom and add that into Microsoft Teams. I had some questions about how to even get started, so I decided today to do some step-by-step of how to create your classroom in Google Slides. I am choosing to teach you how to do it in Google Slides just for the mere fact that I find that Google Slides is much easier to use. It's a little more user-friendly when it comes to automatically updating within your teams rather than you having to continue to update the URL and continuing to have to save it as a PowerPoint. There is a way to use PowerPoint and it automatically updates, but I just think that is a little more complicated than Google Slides. And just like I said in my video, I do like the fact that if you add any animated GIFs into your Google Slides, they stay animated within Microsoft Teams, but if you add an animated GIF within PowerPoint, as soon as you embed it in Microsoft Teams, that animated GIF does not move anymore. It does not, there's no more animations. So I'm going to show you using Google Slides. I will try to show you how to take your Google Slides and save it as a PowerPoint in a later video, just in case you do want to add that as a PowerPoint in Microsoft Teams. But I will say that I don't really think there's any difference whether you use Google Slides or Microsoft PowerPoint, none that I've found, other than if maybe your organization or district or school has a firewall against external links. So if you have, let's say, Microsoft Teams and your school has a firewall that does not allow students to click on external links, they don't allow the students to take them to any external links, then you'd want to use PowerPoint because that link to Google Slides will not work. But otherwise, I don't really see any difference in using one or the other. It's kind of user preference. So I'm going to show you how to create in Google Slides. I will also show you how to save that as a PowerPoint in case you would rather save the PowerPoint into Microsoft Teams instead of the Google Slides into Teams. So without further ado, step one, the first step I'm going to show you is how to create your background in Google Slides for your classroom. So the only thing you need to get started is a Google account. If you do not have one, you need to go to gmail.com and you need to create an email with Google. Once you have that email set up, you'll have access to all the Google products such as Slides, Sheets, Drive, which is awesome because it's another place for you to store any of your files. You can also go to other Facebook groups where amazing teachers are creating classroom templates for you to utilize. So all you have to do is make a copy of those and they will be sent to your Google Drive for you to open up and edit within Slides to kind of make it your own. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to kind of show you how to get started with your own. So once you've created your Gmail account, all you have to do is at the top, you just type in Google Slides. You can see I've done this several times. You click on the first link that says Google Slides and go to Google Slides. To start your own, you can see at the bottom that I've taken a couple of templates from Facebook groups as kind of like inspiration to kind of look over some that I really liked that I'd like to utilize in my classroom. But I'm going to get started here with a blank. And I like to start from scratch, so I'm going to take away these text boxes. I'm going to click in the corner, drag it, and I'm going to hit the delete button. And now I can start from scratch. The really cool thing about Google Slides is that you do not have to save any images outside of Google Slides and bring them in. They have an image search that you can utilize. It also gives you free use images, which is awesome. So that means that these images are free for you to use. You cannot sell these templates on Teachers Pay Teachers using these images. You can use them in your classroom without breaking any kind of copyright laws. Sometimes whenever you just go to a regular search and you type in an image, that image might actually be copyrighted. You need to change the settings. That's a whole nother beast to find free use, but Google Slides does automatically just revert to free use. So in order to get a background, I go to Insert, Image, Search the Web, and over on the side, you're going to get your search bar. Now, there are some teachers that search for floor, and they put the floor in here first. Then they search for a wall, and they put a wall. You can do that if you would like, if you don't really like the options that you find for an entire background. But just for the purpose of this, I'm kind of going to show you just one background. So I'm going to type in wall and floor and see what comes up. So when you scroll down, you can see, oops, it kind of looks like, here's one with a brick background and wooden floors. There's a couple here. There's a gray one. I've used this in the past. I'm going to kind of use that as my example. I like it because there's a plant on it, and I love plants in my classroom. So I'm going to click it, and I'm just going to drag it over, and it will open up inside my classroom. So basically, this screen is what your kids are going to see once you share your classroom. This is where all your links are going to go, but I just need to create a background first. You can see it does not stretch all the way, it does not cover your entire classroom screen. So you need to stretch that. You can do so, you can move it, so you can click and drag and move it. You can drag the corner and make it bigger, but you can see it doesn't stretch all the way. You can drag that and make it bigger, and you can crop your image. I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. You can drag it. If you don't mind it being stretched, you can drag it horizontally or vertically. I'm going to see how bad it stretches here. That's not too bad. So I'm just going to keep that, but I'm going to show you how to crop your image, just in case, let's say you stretched it from the corner and it went above your classroom. Let's say it went up and it was a little too high. I'm going to show you how to crop that down, so that way it covers your entire classroom. So right now, if you had it stretched this far, your kids would only see like to the top about right here. But I'm going to double click, and I see a black border, and I'm just going to drag this down, and I'm going to look for this really faint line. That's where the top of my classroom is. So I'm going to drag the black line up to that line, and then I'm going to click somewhere outside of my image. Oops. Let me see. I'm going to click here, and that will resize it to my classroom. So now I have a background. Now the only bad thing is when you're adding extra elements to this, you can accidentally move your background. Well, you do not want to do that. It becomes frustrating. So I'm going to show you how to save that as a permanent background. So all you need to do, once you have the background how you want it, you go to File, you go to Download, and you go to JPEG. You want to save it as like an image. So you go to JPEG, and down here, it's going to pop up, and it's going to already save it into your downloads. I don't want it there. I want to save it on my computer. So I'm going to click the arrow and go Show in Folder. And mine's here. I'm going to rename that. So I'm going to right click it and rename it Class Background. And I'm actually going to save that. Let's say I save it in, I'm going to drag it over to Desktop. Oops, I'll move it here. And I want to move that into my folder. So Erica. And let me move it into my online classroom. Okay, so now it's where I want it. It's in this folder. You could also, if you had right-clicked, you could cut it, and then you could paste it into whatever folder you want. But just simple there. I'm going to hit the X, and then I'm going to actually click this background, and I'm going to hit the delete button and delete it. I'm going to right-click, change background. And then I need to choose that image I just saved. So I have upload, and I go to browse, and I need to go to that folder. You can see I'm already, if I wasn't there, I could go to desktop, Erica, online classroom, and mine was class background. So I click on that and open it. It'll upload. I hit done, and now I can't move my classroom background. So I can add everything on top of this, like your desks or your bookcase or anything else you'd like to add in your classroom, and it won't accidentally move your background, which is kind of a perk. The only other thing that you want to do at this point is also to name your classroom. So I could name mine my classroom, anything you want. hit enter, and that's automatically in your drive. So if you accidentally exit out, all you have to do at the top is go to Google Drive, click on Google Drive, go to Drive, and then you should see it. Mine's right here, My Classroom. So I can just double click it and it'll open it back up for me to edit. So when I'm done kind of messing around with it, it automatically saves. You don't need to save it. It saves it in real time. So once you add everything you want, it's already saved. You can just hit the X, and anytime you want to go back to it, you go to your Google Drive, and here it is. So I really hope that helps you kind of get started. I'll create some other videos of how to add other images, how to remove backgrounds on images, how to add links, and hopefully those will kind of help you. If you have any other ideas of videos for me to create, please just let me know. You can actually email me at Erica, ERICA, dot period, Gorrell, GORRELL, at gmail.com with any other suggestions, and I will try to create a video to help you. But look out for step number 2. I hope this helps.